Hey guys, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It's 3:45 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. And if it's 3:45, I got something I want to talk about. I didn't have a chance to make another video yesterday. I was outside literally for almost 5 hours shoveling yesterday. Almost 5 hours. I am so sore this morning. All right. Stay tuned today. I just want to tell you guys to stay tuned for the end of this video because I want to talk briefly at the end of my video about Sunrise, Florida, and the two FBI agents that lost their lives. And I'm going to have a little bit of an opinion on the Second Amendment. Some people might not like it. All right, let's talk about Newsmax and Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy. Now, the link for what I'm talking about is going to be down below, so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so Newsmax invites Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, to come on and talk about cancel culture. Then you guys know, cancel culture is bull. Cancel culture is basic advertising economics 101. It's what the public wants to hear. Money talks, bull walks. That's what cancel culture is. Cancel culture is the whining, bitching, crying of right-wing people that their bizarre conspiracy theories aren't being heard enough. All right. Before I get off on a rant. So, Newsmax invites Mike Lindell on, right, to talk about cancel culture. And what happens? Newsmax actually cancels Mike Lindell live as he's being interviewed. Walks off, the news anchor actually walks off the set as Mike Lindell. They turn off his mic and they walk off the set as he's blithering and blathering about the Dominion and the machines, and we have all the evidence. And they cut off his mics, and the news anchor walks off. I got the link down below. This is just irony at its finest, man. It's karma. It's irony. It's beautiful. I would have never expected this from Newsmax. All right. Let me cut down, if you guys watch this clip, let me cut it to the chase. And this is making my whole point, okay? Newsmax and all these other right-wing politicians, Newsmax, Fox, all carried this election fraud bull because it made them money. As long as it made them money or got them power in the government, like the politicians, the right-wing politicians that followed on Donald Trump's coattails. Money and power. And they rode that coattail for as long as they could. Now, you're going to see in this clip the news anchor. He goes to the control room, and they turn down Mike Lindell's mic, and then the news anchor looks down and starts reciting verbatim a legal statement. Obviously, because Dominion has threatened a huge multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against Newsmax, Fox News, Mike Lindell, all these people that are still spewing this nonsense that Dominion and algorithms and China and Cuba and blah, 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 blah. And Dominion's had enough. All right? So what you have here is Newsmax, as long as these lies paid off, they were willing to put it all over the air. But now that the wind's blowing in the other direction and people are just sick of it. Let's talk about this, okay? Democrats and Republicans are fairly split in the United States. We had 80 million votes for Biden. We had, 74 million? 82 million for Biden, 74, 76 for Trump. All right, so let's say they're equally divided, just for the sake of argument. All right. How many of those Republicans actually believe the election was stolen? Maybe 60 or 70%. So about a little over a third of America might believe in this bull. Now they are the minority. The world turns on money. Advertising. If I could go on here, right, and I could talk about all sorts of wild conspiracies and this and that. Now, when I make a video, I then go to another channel, I go to another area of YouTube, and I monetize it. I have to go down this whole long list every time I make a video, and a checklist of if I'm gonna talk about anything that might offend advertisers, and they will not advertise. I won't get any money for it. It's not right wing. It's not left wing. It's just stuff that advertisers feel uncomfortable, that people don't want to hear, that advertisers don't want their products associated with. It all comes down to money and capitalism. You right-wing people remember capitalism, right? That's all this is about. This whole cancel culture crap. If somebody got on here and started talking about they have evidence of Bigfoot, and they like Mike Lindell, if Mike Lindell had come out and started talking about Bigfoot, every time he got on the camera, he's talking about, I met Bigfoot, I know I have evidence, he's going to get canceled. People are going to get sick of it. They're going to think he's a nutcase. You know, this lawsuit's been thrown out over 60 times out of the courts. So supposedly, Mike Lindell is saying that he has more evidence than Trump's own Attorney General, William Barr. Right? He has more evidence than the FBI, the CIA, and William Barr. And this is the thing with Mike Lindell, too. He says, I'm going to come out with this evidence. It's a Trump thing all over again. Next Tuesday, I'll gladly pay for that hamburger next Tuesday. You know, Wimpy from the cartoon there. You know, and it's the same stuff over and over again, and people are tired of hearing about it. There's only about, a third of the country that still even believes this. They are in the minority. The rest of the country is sick of it, and they don't want to hear this stuff. It's like talking about Bigfoot. It's like talking about the earth being flat. There's no money in it. The advertisers don't want to be associated with it anymore. It's about money and capitalism, and people just being tired of hearing ridiculous bull. That's what it's about. It's not about cancel culture. It's some big conspiracy to censor my freedom of speech. Your freedom of speech is bull. You're rattling on about a Bigfoot theory, about the world being flat. And Dominion machines and algorithms. And now that Dominion's actually putting the gloves on, or taking the gloves off, and fighting back, well, then the tide's turned now. Now the money is no longer with the people willing to spew these bull theories. Now that you're being threatened with lawsuits. That's all this is about. It's about capitalism, money, and public perception. It's not some big conspiracy. Now, I've had it with this. DeSantis came on, the governor of Florida, and started talking about the Hunter Biden stuff and how that wasn't covered in the media. We had Rudy Giuliani getting a computer that was left for a couple of years. It was handed through 3 sets of people, supposedly left in a computer. The whole story reeked of bull, you know. And of course, the big news agencies wouldn't touch it because it stunk from the beginning. And Rudy Giuliani was the one trying to pass it out and get people to smell it. Of course, people didn't want to hear it. So DeSantis starts talking about, if it was me and there was unsubstantiated rumors about me, they'd be right out with him. Well, that's because I don't know. I don't know if they would or they wouldn't. But don't be bringing up the Hunter Biden. You know, that's a whole nother bull story, and I'm not going to even get into that. All right, now, I'm almost out of breath here. All right, let me talk about Florida. Marjorie Taylor Greene about chasing David Hogg down the street, telling him that he's trained and he's scripted, and he's trained like a dog. This is somebody that just survived a school shooting, who saw his classmates, and she's chasing him down the street, yelling this stuff at him. All right, she's fighting against background checks. There's people like her even fighting to have people, you know, mental illness doesn't even matter. Anybody that can hold a gun can buy a gun. Well, here in Florida, this is what you got. Now, this guy shot through a door, and he I don't know what he was shooting. I don't know his background at all. But as the FBI approached, a group of FBI approached, this guy was well armed enough to decimate pretty much their whole front line through the door. So this is what happens when you don't do background checks and you let everybody and their brother, anybody that can even hold a gun is able to buy a gun no matter what their mental status. This is what happens. Good guys, what was that? Good guys always defeat the bad guys with guns? Unfortunately, it didn't happen this time. So there goes your theory out the window. Maybe bad guys shouldn't be allowed to get guns of this caliber. Just a thought. All right, I'll be back later with another video. And remember, I own guns. I grew up shooting guns. I support the Second Amendment. But you shouldn't be putting guns in some people's hands. There should be background checks. It's common sense. Some people should not be allowed. Back when I was using, back 15, 20 years ago, thank God I didn't have access to this kind of stuff. I couldn't handle it. Bad things would have happened if I had access 20 years ago to this same thing. Some people should not have access to. Not everybody should have access to the Second Amendment. It's just a fact. All right, I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Wednesday.